Have you ever been listening to a powerful piece of music, watching an intense movie scene, or just suddenly felt a chill, and bam, your skin prickles up into tiny bumps? We call them goosebumps, but what are they really? And why do we get them? It turns out this strange little bodily reaction isn't just about feeling cold. It's a fascinating echo from our ancient past, a remnant of a survival instinct that we still carry with us today. So let's dive deep into the science and history behind this universal human experience. Why do our bodies react this way? And what is it telling us? To understand goosebumps, we need to zoom in on our skin. Right at the base of every single hair on your body, there's a tiny, almost microscopic muscle called the erector pili. When this little muscle contracts, it pulls the hair follicle, causing the hair to stand straight up. At the same time, it creates a small mound on the surface of the skin around the hair. That little mound is what we see as a goosebump. Now, you have these muscles all over your body, from your arms and legs to your neck and even your face. When a whole bunch of them contract at the same time, you get that classic goosebump-covered look. This reflex is an involuntary action, meaning you can't consciously control it. It's managed by your sympathetic nervous system, the same system that controls your fight or flight response. So, when your body senses certain triggers, it automatically fires up these tiny muscles, and you experience that familiar prickling sensation. It's a beautifully simple mechanical process, but the reasons behind it are much more complex and intriguing. This physical reaction has a scientific name, piloerection. It's a term you might not hear every day, but it perfectly describes what's happening. Pilo relating to hair and erection, meaning to stand upright. So, piloerection is literally the process of your hair standing on end. But what triggers it? The most common triggers fall into three main categories: cold, fear, and strong emotions. Think about it. When you step out of a warm shower into a cold bathroom, you get goosebumps. When you're walking alone at night and hear a sudden, strange noise, you get goosebumps. And when you witness something incredibly beautiful or moving, like a wedding vow or a spectacular sunset, you might get them too. This reflex is deeply connected to our primal brain. It's a physical manifestation of our body's response to significant environmental or emotional stimuli. It's a signal that something important is happening, whether it's a threat to our physical safety or a moment that deeply touches our soul. This single, simple reflex serves multiple purposes, all rooted in survival and emotional processing. To really grasp why we have this reflex, we need to look at our animal relatives. For animals with thick fur or feathers, piloerection is a seriously useful tool. First, let's consider it as a defense mechanism. Imagine a cat that feels threatened. Its fur stands on end, its back arches, and suddenly it looks much larger and more intimidating to a potential predator. This is piloerection in action. By puffing up its fur, the animal creates an illusion of size, which can be enough to deter an attacker. It's a bluff, but a very effective one. Many mammals, from porcupines raising their quills to bears making their fur stand on end, use this tactic to appear more formidable when they sense danger. It's a crucial part of their survival toolkit, a way to say, "Don't mess with me," without ever having to engage in a physical fight. This shows us that the fear-induced goosebumps we experience are direct evolutionary, hand-me-down from our ancestors who needed to look tough to survive. So, if it's a defense mechanism for furry animals, what about us humans? We've lost most of our thick body hair over the course of evolution. A little bit of fuzz on our arms isn't going to make us look any bigger or scarier to a potential threat. So in that sense, goosebumps in humans are largely a vestigial trait. That means it's a feature that was useful to our ancestors but has lost its original function over time. Much like our appendix or tailbone, our ancient hairier relatives likely used piloerection to look more intimidating, just like other mammals. But as we evolved to have less hair, the visual effect became negligible. However, even though the primary function is gone, the underlying neural pathways that trigger the reflex are still very much intact. So, when we feel fear or are startled, our nervous system still sends the signal to those tiny erector pili muscles, and up go the bumps. It's a ghost of a reflex, a biological memory of a time when being fluffy was a key to survival. But the story doesn't end there. Even though the making us look bigger function is obsolete, goosebumps still play a role in our modern lives, especially when it comes to our emotions. The reflex is strongly linked to the limbic system in our brain, which is the center for emotions, memory, and arousal. This is why powerful emotional experiences can trigger goosebumps just as effectively as fear. Have you ever gotten chills while listening to a soaring piece of music? That's sometimes called frisson or a skin orgasm. This happens when music creates and then resolves emotional tension, activating the same reward and pleasure circuits in the brain that are associated with things like food and other gratifying experiences. The release of dopamine, a feel-good neurotransmitter, is thought to play a key role. Similarly, moments of profound connection, nostalgia from a powerful memory, or feelings of awe and wonder can all trigger this physical response. It's our body's way of underlining a moment, telling us, pay attention. This is important. Now let's go back to one of the most common triggers, cold. Why do we get goosebumps when we're chilly? Once again, the answer lies with our furry ancestors. When an animal with a thick coat of fur gets cold, piloerection causes its hairs to stand up. This doesn't just make them look puffy. It serves a vital purpose for insulation. The raised hairs trap a layer of air close to the skin. This trapped air acts as a natural insulating blanket, warmed by the body's own heat, which helps to reduce heat loss and keep the animal warm. It's an incredibly efficient, built-in system for regulating body temperature. For us relatively hairless humans, this function is, again, mostly useless. The tiny, sparse hairs on our arms couldn't trap enough air to make any real difference to our body temperature. But the reflex persists. When our body's temperature sensors detect a drop, they send a signal to the brain, which then activates the goosebump reflex as an ancient, albeit ineffective, attempt to warm us up. It's another fascinating example of our evolutionary history showing up in our daily lives. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to get goosebumps all the time, while others rarely experience them? This variation is completely normal and can be tied to a few different factors. For one, emotional sensitivity plays a big role. People who are more open to new experiences, have a richer emotional life, or are more deeply absorbed by things like music and art, often more prone to experiencing frisson and emotionally triggered goosebumps. Their brains may be wired to have a stronger connection between the auditory cortex, which processes sound, and the limbic system, which governs emotion. There may also be a genetic component that makes some people as erector pili muscles more reactive than others. So if you're someone who gets chills from a beautiful song or a moving story, you can think of it as a sign of your deep emotional engagement with the world around you. It's not a weakness. It's a physical marker of your capacity for feeling. So, the next time you feel that familiar prickle on your skin, take a moment to appreciate what's happening. Those little bumps are not just a random quirk. They are ancient signals, a direct line to our evolutionary past, and a window into our deepest emotional responses. Whether you're shivering from the cold, startled by a noise in the dark, or moved to tears by a piece of art, goosebumps are your body's profound way of reacting to the world. They are a reminder that we are creatures of instinct and emotion, beautifully complex and still connected to the wild animal ancestors we came from. It's one of the many amazing secrets our bodies hold. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of goosebumps. If you found this fascinating and want to uncover more secrets about the human body, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got so much more to explore together. See you in the next video.